Hello, welcome to the Slow Knitters channel, which is mostly for herself, but every now and then I will release something out into the wild. Hi, I'm Rena. I am the Slow Knitter. Adjusting the camera a little. Here you're in my craft room, and I have just completed the Go-Go Dynamo shawl, WestKnits MKAL. It takes me 3 months to do this. Usually people do it in 4 weeks. I am not one of those people. I do it in 3 months, and I've consistently done the last 3 that way. So it seems like that's my speed. What does he say? He says something about being slow, which is fine. Embrace your pace. That's me. I'm in the embrace your pace group. Anyway, hi, welcome to my very messy craft room. I thought for my own benefit, and maybe for yours, if you're interested, I would go through my experience with this MKAL. This is my 3rd one. I've done twist and turn. And I forgot what last year's was called, but I did last year's as well. I almost always change the ending of it because I feel like it gets way too big. Only this one was real interesting because we started in the middle, went down, and we were kind of doing all these crazy stitches at the very end, not, you weren't knitting from here down, you were knitting from here down, come back and go up again. So I thought the construction was really interesting, and I have to tell you that I really liked it because I am not one, oh, there's a pink drop down. I am not one for 600 stitches. No. So I liked that it was kind of like, I don't know, was the most we did 400 something, which is really over my limit anyway, but I could see the end. And these little short row triangles or scallops or whatever people are calling them at the very end, there were a lot of them, like a really lot of them. And it went on and it went on and on. Okay. Now, I will tell you that the benefit of doing it this way, oops, a pinky. See, I added a burst of color in my very somber matcha, and I used Madeline Twist Light for my stash. And they're very kind of subtle, very calm colors. And I thought, oh, it needs a pop. And I have these Pearl Soho minis, linen quill minis. And I thought of that pink one. And then when I started knitting with the pink one, I thought, oh, no, it's too much. But I was convinced by friends, and no, it's not too much. It's not too much. It's good. So let me walk you through this. And this is really for my benefit, just from my experience. I always sign up for the MKAL, whether I do it or not. And this is the 5th or 6th MKAL I signed up with, only doing 3 of them, because I kind of like to watch as it goes along whether or not I'm going to do it. So I bought the Go-Go Dynamo one. Last year we had kind of an issue. I feel like I need something around my neck, so I'm going to grab this. This is Melanie Berg shawl I did a long time ago. And I have it out just because I just love it so much. And when it gets cold in here, I just throw it on. Anyway, this is like a sport weight mosaic pattern. I'm a huge Melanie Berg fan as well. But anyway, so in doing this, when I bought the pattern, I watched the first clue tutorial. And oh my God, I thought, as I sat there and watched it, I thought, oh my, no. And no, I am not, this is crazy. This is ludicrous, because you actually, and I know you've seen this before, but I'm just giving you my point of view. You actually start, and I know you've seen this, by starting these sort of semicircles. People call them rainbows, semicircles. And you start with 3 of them. So you knit 3 of them, supposedly, and then you're going to attach this triangle portion to it all along. I thought, oh no, and of course, seeing everybody's work, I just got totally sucked in, FOMO, all that stuff. And I thought, well, okay, I'm not buying a kit. I have this stuff in my stash. I'll just use it. Okay, let's see, Cheryl. You have to stay up. Probably because I don't have it on right, so. Okay, now it's right. Okay, so I thought, you know, I'll just give it a try. I'll do the first triangle and I'll see. And then I saw, this was so great about the Ravelry groups. I love them. They helped me so much. Then I saw somebody who, instead of doing 3 separate semicircles at once, what they did was, oh, I can't find it. Okay. Help me. What they did once was they did a semicircle and then they did the triangle and attached it. Then they did another semicircle, they did another triangle and attached it. I thought, you know, why don't I try that? I'll go that way. And then if I don't like I'll just stop right here. Well, I kind of did. And I did that and I did like it. I liked the, instead of knitting 3 semicircles at one time, I liked knitting a semicircle, then a triangle, knitting a semicircle, then a triangle. And I kind of liked it. So that's the way I did it. From there, we went down and we did these little, I forgot what it calls them, circles or something. And I saw that and I thought, oh, there's no way. So we're like searching the group and other people were like, no. And I thought, you know what? What's the worst thing that could happen? You just try it. And if you don't like it, you just stop doing it. Well, I did like it. I thought it was kind of fun. They were kind of fun. And I have to say, after I blocked it, I found a lot wrong with some of them and I had to go back in and repair. But that's okay. I didn't mind. And I thought, okay, so then I'm going to do that. The next section was going to be brioche. There were 2 options. Brioche, where the eyelets are. You see the eyelets. And I love brioche. I love knitting it. I've done a bunch of brioche work. But my problem with this brioche, this particular brioche, was that it was so long. And of course, as you know, if you are brioche knitters, you knit the same row twice. I'm already like at capacity in terms of number of stitches. And I had a long needle, which was my first mistake. I had a 47-inch cord on my Chowgu size 4. And size 4 US. Let me get down there. And when I was doing brioche, I kept screwing up because the needle was kind of fiddly. And I had to go back and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go with the eyelet version. It's only 1 row each way, and that's what I did. And I ended up doing that. I would have preferred to do the brioche because so many people did it. It was so beautiful. But for me, for what I was doing, what I was trying to accomplish, the brioche was not going to work. Then we had this second round of these circles. And I thought, you know what, this needs, since we're not doing brioche, not doing anything interesting, we need to add a pop of color. So I have now a couple packs of Pearl Soho's linen quill minis, which are about 100 grams each. And they're so wonderful. The colors are like amazing. I thought I need something really dramatic for this kind of very straightforward, plain kind of color choice. I'm going to pick the one that's, I think the name of it is Pink Pop. And so I thought, well, I'll do the second row of circles with the Pink Pop. I'll do the first row with my matcha color, the second row with the pink pop, and then the third go round with matcha again. When I started knitting with pink pop, I thought, yikes, that's a little much. But I thought, you know, this is my, let me preface everything I'm about to say by telling you that this is my annual art project. I don't wear these shawls. I really do them to display them, to finesse my skill set, because every MKAL I've done, I have learned something new or gained confidence in an area that was kind of not great. So I don't necessarily do it so I can wear it. Like I might wear it to a knitting breakfast with my knitting friends, but I don't typically wear them. And that's fine, because the whole point is really not to like wear them. I mean, I live in a kind of a warm climate. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and there, I'll tell you, the winter weather, there are days where all it calls for is all you need is a warm shawl, or you need a heavy coat. I mean, it's that kind of weather. Anyway, so I thought, let me just add the pink pop. So I'll do that. And then the next section were these, what Stephen called it, I guess he called them that, I don't know. These short row, I don't know, everyone does it differently. Triangles, scallops, and this is kind of the end of the shorter version of the shawl. This is the end. I will tell you, I love Stephen West's short rows. I love short rows. Plus it was kind of like little bites, like you do like 1 or 2 a day, 1 or 2 a day. So you don't have to do like 400 purl stitches, 400 knit stitches. You don't have to do that. You just do 1 or 2 a day, attach them, use the weave in Stephen so you don't have to put in too many ends. And it was, I have to say, out of all this, that was, for me, the most fun was the short row triangles. They were just a blast. They were just fun. So then, because I'm very behind, it takes me 3 months, as I mentioned, to do these things. A 4-week project, MKAL always takes me 3 months, always. Always. It's like, if I look back on all the MKALs I've done, whether it's Stephen West or Helen Stewart, always takes me 3 months. So that's because I'm not monogamous. I always have something else going on, and for variety. But we then had to, I just noticed something I want to show you. Then we had to go back in to the triangles and the half circles. We had to go back in and pick up stitches and then start working from the middle of the shawl up. So we've already done the middle of the shawl down. Now we had to go for the middle of the shawl up. Now, for those of you who know how Stephen West works with his shawls, he loves mohair. He loves a mohair dare. That's what he calls it. Could you mind gonna do a mohair dare? Well, don't hate me. Don't make any comments. I am not a mohair fan. I've tried and tried. I mean, I've knit a sweater holding fingering and mohair. I hate that sweater. I don't like the feel of it. And I mean, the halo's nice, but sorry. A lot of people love it. I am not one of them. I am not a mohair fan. Anyway, so, but of course, just like I did with, was it last year's? I decided I'll do 1 row with mohair and see if maybe this time I'll like it. No, still don't like it. I have a skein of Chelsea's leather boots mohair. It's beautiful. I used it on last year's shawl. I used it on this year's shawl. I still don't like it. Not the color or her yarn. I just don't like. I mean, Christina's yarns are beautiful, but I just don't like the feel of it or how it looks, and I'm always kind of like losing the strand of mohair. It almost makes it, it's just not pleasurable. It almost makes that part of it not pleasurable. So there's a section, you see the mohair? My matcha color is like a off-whitish gold, greenish. So I thought, oh, the gold from Christina's yarn would be great. Let me try that. And I tried that in what he calls these tiny baubles. You can see these are the tiny baubles. The tiny baubles are challenging, and I'll tell you why the tiny baubles are challenging. But anyway, I use mohair to do one round of the tiny baubles. No. Well, it's just there because part of this whole art project is experimentation. So there's a mohair, don't like it, not going to use it. Now, this tiny bauble stitch, just so you know, is a little bit challenging in that you knit 3 through the back loop. That is not an easy thing to do. So I found, and he in his tutorial, he's like, you wiggle it and you'll get it and move it, you stretch the yarn. I thought, so I did it across this. You can see the gold part of it. I did it across this, but I have to tell you, I hated it. I really struggled, and I thought, oh, I cannot do all those rows of little tiny baubles. I can't get my needle in 3 behind, knit 3 through the back loop. I mean, so I went to the Ravelry group, which, by the way, is a fantastic group. Stephen West has the most active, most informed group of knitters in his MKAL group on Ravelry. And he breaks it up by clue and FO. Anyway, so many gorgeous shawls in there. It's just like blows me away. So I was just following the thread to see if anybody else was having that trouble. I'm sure enough, a lot of people were having trouble with the tiny bauble stitches. So one knitter, I wish I knew her name, so fantastic, said, here are 2 alternative ways to do it and you get the same effect. And I thought, what is it? One is you slip the first 2, you're supposed to do 3 knit, yarn over knit creates 3 stitches. And he wants you then to go behind those and knit them together through the back loop. That is not easy. So, and that's where I was struggling. So this one knitter in the Ravelry group said, here's another way to do that. Knit, yarn over knit. When you come back the other way, you slip the first 2, now you've created 3 stitches. You slip the first 2 purlwise to the right needle. You knit the remaining stitch on the left needle through the back loop. Then you pass over those 2 stitches over that one knit through the back loop stitch. I'm telling you, it was a lot. It was a game changer. I thought, okay, I'll try that. We'll see how it goes. A game changer. I was able to knit all these little baubles, and it looks exactly like the ones that Stephen has, without knitting 3 through the back loop. I just knit 1 through the back loop. The other 2 I passed and then passed it over, and I have the exact same stitch. So I was thrilled with the fact that I could do that. The next section is mosaic, which I love mosaic. And the thing about this section where you're doing the mosaic and the tiny baubles is you must really be sure you're on your count, because mosaic, it will tell you when you're not on your count. It will screw it up. So yeah, so I was constantly checking my count, and if I was off, if I was off, I would end up like putting it down for an evening or day and then going back and recounting, and somehow the recount was always correct. No. When you're tired and you're like, I'm one off. How am I going to make that right? Well, I wasn't one off ever. So that was good because it's very careful and I'm very slow. So that's right. So that worked out really well. And then back to the tiny bobbles. Then I decided in this section, I need one of my pink to come back. And that's when I decided to, on the second round of tiny bobbles, do a pink middle of that. And then the last round of tiny bobbles, I will do it all in pink. And I kind of like it. It's not like too heavy on the pink. It's kind of just right on the pink. So I'm happy with that. I'm really happy with that. The Ravelry group is amazing, though. I have to say, it is amazing. Now, on this one, I use stash yarn because I do have a lot of stash. Although I keep culling it down, and I don't know, more appears. Anyway, so I'm very, very happy with this. It worked out fine. Too big, way too big for me. All of his shawls are way too big for me. I like the crescent shape of it. I like it. Now, the first MKAL that I was able to complete twists and turns. I love twists and turns. It just constantly surprised me. And feedback that I got from the information I got from the Ravelry group was great. I will tell you one other thing. Irina from Fiber Chats and Martin of Welsh Tenor, at Welsh Tenor, Martin. Irina and Martin have Zoom all through this whole experience with knitters that are working on this. And at my twist and turn, there was a real problem with one of my panels and I couldn't figure out how to do it. And then Martin reached out and he was having the same problem. And he reached out to one of Stephen's, I think she's actually his test knit coordinator. I mean, she is amazing. And he reached out to her and said, what am I doing wrong? What should I do? And she gave him some advice and then he passed it on to all of us. And I was able to emulate that, copy that, and it worked out perfectly well. So I don't know that I would have that problem today because it involved a lot of purling and like most of ours, I'm not crazy about the purl. So I was okay with taking that advice and using that to, do this. Anyway, so all through the MKALs, I always watch Irina and Martin talk to the knitters around the world who are working on this, and to see their beautiful work, and then to also learn from them about how they're handling certain things, and the yarns they've picked out. They've also, I think this might have been the first year, maybe it was last year too, they actually interview some of the indie dyers, which is great. So as I said, the first year I also had stash, so I used that. Last year, during the MKAL, I decided to buy a kit from Stephen West, his bicycle yarn, which is fantastic. And I was really happy that I bought the kit last year. Really, really thrilled with it. This year I had stash, and don't forget I was kind of on the fence about whether I was going to do it, so I thought, well, I'm not going to invest any money in anything. So what I think I'm going to do on a regular basis, I will do the next MKAL. When the MKAL came around, my friends were like, are you going to do it? I'm like, no, I had an MKAL this year, wasn't really happy with it. I think I've had my MKAL fill. And they went, yeah, we'll see. And of course, when I started, they're like, yeah, we knew it. We knew you were going to do it. Next year, I will buy a kit. I will buy a kit again. So what I think I'm going to do is just every other year, use stash and buy a kit. I will buy Stephen's yarn. I really particularly like Stephen's yarn. And it's probably, I think he always makes a kit with Holst yarn, and I think that's probably the least expensive kit. And then a level up is Stevens yarn, and then he has the more expensive indie dyed yarns like Life in Long Grass, or it's a whole slew of them. So, and the difference in price between the very expensive indie dyed yarn and Stevens yarn is probably $30 to $50 or something difference for a kit. The whole yarn is $30 to $50 less than Stevens yarn, which is great. I mean, it's very, very affordable. Or a lot of people just work from their stash, whatever they've got in their stash. They work from that, which is great. So I will buy a kit next year for next year's MKAL. It's kind of my annual art project. And of course, it falls right at the end of the year when you're trying to do gift knitting and stuff. So, but I don't do a lot of gift knitting because I don't have a lot of knit-worthy family. I mean, some are, but most aren't. So I don't wear myself out trying to knit gifts for things. I do make baby blankets for each one of my nieces and nephews' children, their first child. That's it. And my great nieces, I found this out, my grand nieces have each had a baby. I've made a bunch of hats. That's it. But I think I'm going to be out of the baby blanket garment business because I don't like the pressure. I feel a lot of pressure. Like, 'cause I like to go at my own pace. I knit different things at different times. I'm really itching for a brioche project right now, so I'll check Knit Graffiti out. I love her patterns. I just have too much going on with other projects that I'm looking forward to completing. So anyway, I just really wanted to come on and even for my own information, talk a little bit about this project because it was, I think what's so creative about it is that he leaves it up to you how you combine colors, whether you do brioche or not. I mean, I've also seen some that are a lot of variegated, and he doesn't necessarily recommend that, but people do it anyway, and it looks pretty good. So you just learn so much from your other knitters, the other knitters who are doing the same project you're doing around the world. It's just an amazing experience. And none of my friends do it. They're all like, no, we're not going to do it. And I think, well, I am. But I have different reasons for knitting. I don't really like garment knitting that much. I've had many years of trying to make the perfect sweater for me, and I can't. There is no, every sweater I have fairly strong dislike for, which is very frustrating. I am gonna try a cable sweater by Norgon, the checkered sweater, because this year, for the first time, I also got into cable knitting. I knew how to cable. I could cable, but it wasn't like, it always like would stress me out to cable. Like, which way does it go? This year I joined Carol Feller Stolen Stitches Blanket Club, and they're just each one is a square. And I thought, okay, I can handle a square. I can learn how to cable on a 10 by 10 square. I can do that. And I did. So I loved it. The squares were designed by Thea Coleman, brilliant designer, and putting together the blanket. Everything was a learning experience. And I guess that's kind of what I'm in for, is kind of, what am I going to get out of this? What am I learning out of this? Anyway, but the cable project was a lot of fun. And that's, what I'm finding is almost every project I do, I'm going to have to learn something that I've not done before, which is probably why I haven't knit socks in a while. Although I kind of have a itch for knitting socks. And I'm crocheting a lot. It's a different craft, yet not a different craft. It's still a fiber arts craft. And I really like it. And I'll talk about that another time. But yeah, crochet is part of what the Slow Knitter does. Kind of not the right name. The Slow Crafter. I'm not changing it. Anyway, thanks so much, even if this is just for me, for listening to my rant about, not rants, my pleasure of knitting this amazing piece. I mean, it's like separate designs. Like, I can see a shawl of only this stuff, right? Just the baubles, the mosaic, the baubles, mosaic, the baubles. I could see a whole shawl of just that easily. And then I'm folding it. I can see a shawl of just this section, right? This could be a shawl all on its own. So when you think about it, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody, Stephen, came out with just a shawl with just this section, or a shawl or something with just this, which this is my favorite part of the shawl right here. That and the little short row triangles. I have to say, I did love them. I did. They were great. Look how symmetrical they are. It's so great. Because I was blocking, and I was looking at the thing, and I was like, okay, that bubble doesn't attach. So I had to go back in after I took it off the blocking mats, and I didn't block aggressively. I think Steven showed, he just lays it out. He doesn't pin. I pinned just the top edge just to keep the top edge straight, but I didn't pin anything else. And I think it's fine. It doesn't need to be pinned anywhere else. So, and I think it also keeps it kind of, not if you stretch it and make it huge. I don't. I just lay it out, flatten it out, just pin along the top just to make it straight. And it's, look, it didn't need it. And what I like most about blocking is the soaking, is the kind of, so that the yarn can relax and feel so much softer. So I'm a big blocker. I believe in it. Some of my crochet, though, I don't block because I'm a big granny square freak fan, and I steam them. I steam those. But this blocking was really for the fabric to relax, not for stretching it out and making it bigger. So I like that where you just pat it. So it's not unbearably big. It's too big for me, but it is, you know, the perfect way to do it is to do it that way. Anyway, that's my information. I'm just trying to think. I was laying in bed thinking about what I would talk about, but I think I've talked about everything I wanted to talk about. So nobody ever listened to me when I say I won't do another MKAL, because I am going to do them. I think a couple of them before Twists and Turns, which would be this one, four MKALs ago. I didn't like it. I'm glad I didn't do it. I thought it was kind of crazy. It was very crazy. So I didn't do it. Again, and the good thing is the shawl is for sale. The vinyl pattern is for sale. Anyone can do this. They can follow the tutorials as they want. So it's works out really well. Yeah, I'm very happy with this. Okay, I'm trying to think if there was anything else. Probably, but I forgot. Anyway, that was the gist. That was the most of it. It is an event, a knitting event, that brings together knitters all over the world. And you have a group of people, some people all over the world, I imagine, in different markets in the US, where you have Irina in Boston, the Boston area, and Martin in Wales. It's just like you feel so much part of this community, that you feel like I'm with a bunch of friends that are knitting this fantastic project. And Stephen is, I mean, he's a freaking genius. And I do it because it's usually unusual and not something where, and when I think about it, after knitting for picking it up again for 14 years now. I like to knit to see the final product, to making this fabric. That's really why I like to knit. Whether I wear them or not, I don't really care. Really what I care about is what yarn am I using? Is this unusual yarn? Do I like the feel of the fabric? I just like, you know, somebody said, so you 2 sticks, wool of some kind, and then you create this thing. And that's really what I'm in it for. And if I wear it, I usually wear things around the house. I have my my winter ensemble down in the kitchen for what I'm gonna wear in the winter. So I have a poncho I just made. Will I ever wear it? Maybe. Hats, not so much. Occasionally. Again, these are just things occasionally, but really what I like to do is just make. So I guess that makes me a maker. I'm a maker. And again, whether or not I wear it, irrelevant. All right. I think I've taken up too much time. Thank you so much. All my contact information is below. I am the Slow Knitter on Instagram. I am Slow-Knitter-ATL on Ravelry, and you can see I keep copious notes on my project pages, so you can always check those. I have a Facebook group called the Slow Knitter. My email is down there, slowknitter@gmail.com. For whatever reason, if you want to get in touch or just comment or not. I'd love for you to subscribe. I have not been on this channel. I have not been active on this channel for 4 or 5 years. I started out, I was very excited about having a YouTube channel, but I haven't really felt the need to come on. After doing this project, I did feel the need, so who knows? I might be back. I might not. I don't know. I'm just going to randomly post a video, and hopefully you'll subscribe and hope that I post. But anyway, thanks very much for watching, and go ahead and subscribe. I might surprise you, put up another video soon. And that's really my goal, is to do that. Let's see if I can keep that goal. All right, for 2025. Have a very happy holiday, and we'll see you on the other side. 2025 is coming up. See ya. Bye. Happy holidays. Bye.